US used Iran attack as theatrics. Those are reports that are coming in. US reports saying that this was symbolic attack on bases by Iran because there was information that was already in place for an assessment on what really is going to happen as a retaliation by Iran. So Iran had informed the Qatari authorities in advance, and what US media is reporting now, coming in from sources and officials from Washington DC, is that Iran's attack was just theatrics, and that after suffering the humiliation of their nuclear facilities being attacked in Iran, that they needed to respond, and so as a symbolic gesture they've attacked the air base in Qatar. Having said that, one has to look at and zoom out of what the reports are coming from the United States of America alone and see what Iran's next course of action is really going to be, and how Iran is going to respond further to the attacks on its nuclear facilities. Those are details that are just coming in. This even as President Trump is in the Situation Room, getting an assessment of the attack that was carried out by Iran and what the Trump administration's response is going to be. Now, again, reports coming in from US says that no retaliation if Iran stops now. Certainly a step back from what was expected. Most of the experts had been saying that there is going to be a retaliation. Harold Rode, an officer who served in the US administration and is a Middle East expert, continues to be with us. Harold, these are reports that are coming in from Washington DC that Trump right now has no intention of responding, that they are looking at these attacks as symbolic in nature because Iran had to respond. Are we looking at signs of the two sides coming to the talking table?
Talking table isn't going to happen, but it is President Trump that will make the decision here. And he made it clear that if they touch the hair of one head of an American in the Middle East, that the government of Iran will not want to see or hear the consequences. I can't talk for President Trump, but that's what he said. And I would listen to what President Trump said because invariably, it may take some time. Whatever he says happens.
Okay. We also have Adrian with us. So Adrian, coming to you, a quick reaction on reports that are coming in from the United States of America that this attack was symbolic in nature and that America is not going to respond.
It's an interesting reading by Trump. You said it yourself, Gita, and I kind of agreed with you that it was largely symbolic in nature. The one thing that I think we need to account for is that this has been a campaign that's been coordinated between the United States and Israel, and what's keeping Trump for asking Netanyahu to listen. We know you're eroding areas. They actually hit Evin Prison, one of the gates today, where they keep all the political prisoners inside Iran. The people are tortured and the brutal stuff. Maybe Trump tells them, can you pivot and take out these objectives that maybe we have. But when you look at Trump's intervention, he always put it, the military base, the nuclear facility, Fordo, it was on the table. It needs to be destroyed. That was kind of his red line. No enrichment, no reprocessing. And he's also facing from inside certain elements of his base. I think they're just allowed people within the MAGA group that say, Trump said he wasn't going to get us into foreign wars, stuff like this.
Right.
And so he's just kind of calculating here. But Trump, he just doing what he did with taking out Fordo, hitting Natanz and Isfahan, went against all these loud voices. So Trump's going to do what he needs to do. But he also has help, and he has an ally in Netanyahu.
Okay. Tamar, I'll come to you, and I go back to what I was saying as an assessment that the Middle East is going to come in over here. That none of the West Asian countries at this point in time would want to be vulnerable, and that they would not want to see an escalation that could impact their soil, their sovereignty. Do you think that that's a message that must have gone across to Washington, D.C. from their partners and strategic allies in the region, Saudi Arabia included?
Yes, I think no one really wants to be engaged in war. Israel and Iran also don't want to be engaged in war, but there are some, interests, security interests that have to be attended to on both sides. Okay, um, but for more than a year, there was symbolic attacks or crossing lines every time one nation crossed a line and then the other country crossed a line, but we never got into a full-fledged war because there's the honor thing that this is why they needed the symbolic attack, but there's also the survival issue. And if they want to survive, war is putting the regime in danger. For the time being, we're seeing that they're surviving. But if the people take to the streets while the regime is vulnerable and weak, and they don't have Nasrallah to send them thousands of soldiers again to help them suppress the protests, if there are protests now, the regime is still in danger.